As you see in the title of this video, I'm going to be discussing my thoughts on the WWE tri-branded draft, a little mini draft that happened this past Monday night on Raw, where they described the way it happened was, I guess, apparently after Donald Trump storyline-wise sold back Monday Night Raw to Vince McMahon, there was one last thing he did, a 15-person trade, 5 new people to Raw, 5 to ECW, and 5 to SmackDown. That's the way the trade went. Other thing I will be discussing is a must-see match. After I get my thoughts on the tri-branded draft this past Monday, I'll tell you about that must-see match. And if you haven't seen already, the link is in the description of that. And then a couple other things I'll probably get my thoughts on as well. First off, what they did on Monday Night Raw. Well, you obviously saw on Monday Night Raw 3 new additions to Monday Night Raw, where they did the 3-on-1 gauntlet match with Randy Orton. Started off pretty good. You got to see Evan Bourne come out there, and I got to say Evan Bourne had a very good showing out there against Randy Orton. Randy Orton obviously was able to defeat him, but looked very good. Then Jack Swagger came out there in a heelish form, and I guess obviously since they're going to be doing a Ted DiBiase versus Randy Orton feud down the line, and Ted DiBiase is going to be turning face soon, even though obviously they got the whole second, third generation wrestler thing for Legacy, it will not shock me if they just kind of change that and just, throw another person in and just say, Jack Swagger can be a part of it, or he'll at least try some way to become a part of it, even though technically he's not, obviously, since he's not a second or third generation wrestler, but seems like they might do that. Then Mark Henry came out there, and I gotta say, a lot of people know I've always disliked Mark Henry. I don't like him, but I gotta say, when he came out there on Monday Night Raw, for the little thing he did with Randy Orton, I gotta say he didn't look too bad on Monday Night Raw, and I guess now he's obviously going to be a face. Now, the one problem I had with it was him going over on Randy Orton definitely made the world champion look very weak. Now, they kind of, the commentators could have probably did a better job, saying, obviously, Randy Orton's beaten up from the night before, and plus, obviously, before this, he had to take on Evan Bourne and Jack Swagger, so I guess it's not too bad, but someone like Mark Henry or anyone like that coming in, making, their, debut on a new show, definitely is not a good thing for that. I don't know if they're going to be pushing Mark Henry to be a main event wrestler. Now, after Monday Night Raw ended, because at first, you just heard them say, okay, Raw's going to gain 5 new people. And the one thing I was really worried about, and I highly doubt I'm the only one that was worried about this, I was like, please do not kill SmackDown. Because when I heard 5 new people are coming to Monday Night Raw, the first thing I thought is they are going to pretty much butcher and kill SmackDown. Thankfully, they did not do that. Obviously, I already told you they got Evan Bourne, Mark Henry, and Jack Swagger. The 2 other additions they got is Gail Kim and Alicia Fox. Now, Gail Kim is a very good addition to Monday Night Raw. Definitely can't wait to see a Gail Kim versus Beth Phoenix feud. And Alicia Fox, she's okay being on Monday Night Raw. Pretty much she's going to be like the eye candy of the women's division on Monday Night Raw. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just put her with some wrestler and her just be a manager / valet. So pretty good, people there for Monday Night Raw. Evan Bourne, I would probably prefer Evan Bourne to switch to SmackDown just due to the fact I think he would do better in the IC title ranks. But apparently, I guess Triple H is pretty much very high on Jack Swagger and Evan Bourne, and he's put him over recently as far as what he thought of their in-ring work, and definitely said those 2 guys right there are definitely 2 of the top guys in WWE that are new talent. And since obviously he thinks that's probably the main reason why they were able to get switched to Monday Night Raw. So pretty good, okay, right there. You got Evan Bourne. He could do very good in the mid-carders. I'll highly doubt you would ever see him in the main eventers, but he is very over with the crowd, so he kind of gets that Rey Mysterio reaction, so it could possibly happen sometime down the line. Jack Swagger, I think, he needs to improve his mic skills, but definitely it's good that he's off the ECW brand, and he's going to be a top guy for WWE in the future. I think I really love seeing Gail Kim on Monday Night Raw. That will work very good. Now, ECW pretty much got killed in here, but the one thing is, I know a lot of people are going to be complaining that ECW got killed in this, which obviously I kind of somewhat expected. It didn't surprise me. I knew either WWE's going to pretty much slaughter SmackDown, which thankfully they didn't, like I said earlier, and I knew they would probably hurt SmackDown, because you knew one of the brands was going to get hurt. And ECW, for the most part, is just supposed to be a televised developmental program, just with the letters ECW. That's all it's supposed to be. And you got Christian on there, and you got Shelton Benjamin on there. Now, that's the one that I kind of had a little problem with, the Shelton Benjamin getting put on the ECW brand, because I really wanted him to stay on SmackDown, but I figured it this way: if it wasn't Shelton Benjamin, it would have probably been John Morrison to get switched back to ECW, and that would have been a huge step back for him. So, and plus Shelton Benjamin and Christian, they could have a very good feud, so that's a good thing right there. Now, pretty much all the other things they got for ECW are pretty much meaningless. They got Goldust, which I guess the whole Goldust and Hornswoggle thing's over now. They got William Regal, which William Regal is pretty much going to fill the void for Finlay, because Finlay got drafted to SmackDown. And they got the Bella Twins, which this is the thing that really doesn't make any sense unless they'll put the Bella Twins with Zack Ryder, with the gimmick he's got right now. If they don't do that, pretty much it's pointless for them to be on there, because obviously there's no women's division on the ECW brand. But obviously they're probably most likely going to be valets or managers for some wrestler at some point. They'll probably build that up. Now, SmackDown got pretty decent in here. I think the best thing they got was the Hart Dynasty. They got D.H. Smith, Tyson Kidd, and Natalya Neidhart, which I think is very good right there. That's definitely good talent right there to get switched to SmackDown. Not only are they a great tag team, you can have them booked as singles competitors too. And now with Natty Neidhart being on SmackDown, she could actually go against Melina for the women's title, which I think would be a very good women's match if that happens. Like I said, Finlay got drafted as well, and Matt Hardy is drafted to SmackDown. So Matt Hardy was pretty much switched back to all three brands in the span of, probably the last 6 months. He's been on all the brands pretty much. And him going to SmackDown is pretty much meaningless here. Hopefully they don't do another Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy feud, because their feud, it wasn't the worst feud ever, but for a brother versus brother feud, I think most people were expecting a whole lot more out of it. So my thoughts on the whole tri-branded draft, they did the little switch-ups they did with new wrestlers being added to Raw, SmackDown, ECW. Obviously, ECW got killed, but the thing they're supposed to do with the ECW is pretty much use it as a developmental territory. And they obviously started putting a lot of, developmental talent on there this past Tuesday, which I think's a good thing to do, start building up some other talent. And then after they develop themselves and get known on ECW, that's when you switch them to Raw or SmackDown. I think that's the good thing that the ECW brand does, is that people that maybe aren't quite ready for a Raw or SmackDown, but are definitely worthy of being on some WWE programming. That's what the ECW brand does very good with. You have them on there, then slowly build themselves up. And then after they get over enough, you put them on another brand. I think that's the thing that's really helped out, guys like CM Punk and John Morrison. If neither one of them had the ECW brand, I don't know if they would be where they are right now. CM Punk's the world champion, and John Morrison, he's getting a mega push on SmackDown. Like I said, talked about the must-see match that I want to recommend y'all to check out if you haven't seen. It's a match from Pro Wrestling Noah that happened on June 22nd of this year. Right now it's only barely a week and a half old. It's a match between Kensuke Office of Kensuke Sasaki and Nakajima versus Kenta and Go Shiozaki. Now, I'll put the links in the description you can watch it on full on Megavideo, or if you don't want to watch it on Megavideo, I'll put the links for the 4 parts on the YouTube links. I'll put that as well. This match right here is, in my opinion, right now the best match of this year. And if you're one of the people that complain about mainstream companies and wrestling nowadays doesn't have great tag team wrestling, you just need to see this match. Words cannot really express how great this match is. It's a must-see, so check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Links will be in the description for that. The other thing I want to discuss, now I'm not going to be giving any spoilers out on, Raw or SmackDown, because obviously most of you probably already know that next week's Raw, ECW, Superstars, and SmackDown, all those shows have already been pre-taped, due to the fact that next week WWE is going to be doing an overseas tour. But the one thing I do want to mention that came out of these tapings, and this is no spoilers, so don't worry at all, it's just a match that's happening not on this week's edition of SmackDown, not the July 3rd edition, but the July 10th edition of SmackDown. It's going to be another Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho IC title match. And from the spoilers, a lot of people have been saying this match was given a fairly good amount of time. It's been described as a long, awesome match, so definitely cannot wait to see how that's going to turn out. So If you aren't able to check out SmackDown that Friday, you know, just set a DVD recorder, DVR, or, you know, you can check it out. WWE does put their programming, well, not all their programming, but I think they put up ECW Superstars and SmackDown on Hulu, so you can check it out on there. Then, you know, you can check it out. You can find, you know, pretty much any WWE programming that you want to on Daily Motion and YouTube as well. So definitely you got to look out for that match. I definitely can't wait to see that. Those two right there probably been putting on some of the best matches in WWE this year on the most consistent basis, and probably is the only feud this year within WWE I could actually say would qualify as a feud of the year. Now, the storyline with Randy Orton and Triple H to build up to all their feud that started at WrestleMania, if the matches would have delivered, that would be probably the feud of the year, but the matches didn't deliver. Whereas the Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho not only has been a very good feud, good storyline development within it, within the feud, it's been great matches. Pretty much nothing probably has been worse than 3 stars, and even their one match they did on Raw was pretty solid that they kind of built up to the whole mask versus title match. And the other thing I want to discuss is former Shimmer athlete Serena Deeb is going to be signing with WWE. Now, she has had a developmental deal with WWE at one point or another, so hopefully this works out for her. She definitely is a good talent. I've seen a fairly good degree of her stuff from Shimmer and some other indie stuff I think I've seen her in as well. So definitely hope this works out for WWE right here. And, you know, they need more solid in-ring performers as far as the women's division goes. And they could actually do a very good women's division if they didn't have 2 titles. They would just have one women's title and just have all the women that can actually wrestle go for that title. WWE could probably have, you know, a better women's division than, you know, TNA has at this point, even though TNA is kind of a little stagnant as well, just not as stagnant as TNA's women's division is. Now, I just want to discuss one last thing, because I don't want to make a separate video with this, just a couple plugs or recommendations for hip-hop fans, because I didn't want to make another hip-hop video quite yet. But these are 4 CDs that just recently came out. The first one being Mos Def, The Ecstatic. Definitely would recommend this to anyone. Been a fan of Mos Def for a while. Excellent CD. Next one is Dead Press, The Pulse of the People, Turn Off the Radio, Volume 3. Excellent CD if you're a fan of Dead Press. This is a must-buy. Now, this CD right here is more or less kind of like Immortal Technique's Third World, which is pretty much a hype-up CD for a CD that's coming down the line, the Information Age with Dead Press, which is rumored to either be coming out later this year or early next year. Next one being is pretty much, this is a 2-disc CD, kind of somewhat of a greatest hits, and it's Jedi Mind Tricks called The Greatest Features. And what this CD is, it's pretty much all of the tracks that are not on any of the Jedi Mind Trick CDs. These are, you know, like the title says, greatest features. When any of the songs with Vinny Paz has done with any other artist, you get 10 tracks on the first disc, then 11 on the second disc. So definitely a great CD right there, and it's fairly cheap for a 2-disc CD. I think I only spent like $10 or $11 for it, and that was even at FYE, which they really rip you off most times. And the other one is You God's new CD, Dopium, very good CD. So those are just 4 CDs I wanted to plug real quick. Check them out. Definitely buy the Dead Press CD, and the new Mos Def CD is very good as well as the Jedi Mind Tricks Greatest Features. If you don't have, because even I have most of good degree of most of the stuff from Jedi Mind Tricks they haven't done on their CDs, but I think this was, you know, done so good as far as all the songs they compiled with it. It's definitely worth buying if you're a fan of Jedi Mind Tricks. And the You God CD Dopium is very good as well. If you're a fan of Wu-Tang Clan, definitely would recommend that, because it has a lot of Wu-Tang members on that CD, since obviously You God is a member of the Wu-Tang Clan. So just wanted to throw that out as well. Just wanted to come on here, give my thoughts on the little tri-branded draft they did on Monday Night Raw. Talk about, you know, a must-see match you need to check out. Links in the description for that. Serena Deeb getting signed to a WWE developmental contract. Hopefully this time it does work out for her. And Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho, like I say, are going to have an IC Championship match, not this Friday night SmackDown, but next week's Friday night SmackDown. And it's been described as a very, you know, long match for TV-wise, and an awesome match. Definitely can't wait to check that out. So just want to come on and get my thoughts on that. And yeah, I have peace.